Right, here we are with the Iberian Peninsula, and we've got Portugal down this side. The places that people go to down the bottom there, which is all those Costa places where I don't go, because I really always stick inland. Very occasionally I go to the beach, but I find that all the motorways around the outside edge is where the speed cameras are, where the cops are, where you want to watch parking your bike in a services or even your car, because people will recognise the bandits are all down that country. That's bandit country. So you need to be a bit more careful. So I steer clear of that lot and I go all the way round the middle. Now I've probably done 60 to 70,000 miles of the back roads of Iberia over the last kind of 40 years. So I'm probably going to try and do a series of these, depending on when it rains and things like that. But what I want to do first of all is just to show you on this relief map of mine. You can see that there are big mountain ranges across the top here. There's mountain ranges here. There's mountain ranges here, 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 here. Oh, there's another lot here, and of course up here, and then of course the Pyrenees. So there's actually a lot of mountains in Iberia. It's one of the most mountainous countries in the whole of Europe. I think somewhere like Bosnia or somewhere like that has got more mountains, but otherwise Spain is one of the tops. And basically down here, this little bit here is the Sierra Nevada. Now that is the southernmost permanent snow in the whole of Europe, and it's permanent snow. It's 11,500 feet high, and here's North Africa down here on the same kind of level. Up in the middle here we've got 8,500 foot mountains. The Picos, and everybody talks about the Picos de Europa, well that's this little nipple up the top here, that's 10.5. Over in the Pyrenees you've got 10.5 and 11,000 feet peaks. So you've got all these mountainous areas, but you have got some of the so-called deserts of Spain. The whole area here, the Tierra de los Campos, is very flat, been farmed since pre-Roman times, and was part of the richness of Hispania as the Roman area. And that's very flat, very open, and the obvious route down to southern Portugal would take you across here through Burgos, Valladolid, Salamanca, but it is not a great road to go. Do take the detour that goes round through the mountains. You'll enjoy it a lot better. You can do it in just pretty much the same kind of time. Down at the bottom here you've got the real deserts of Tabernas. This is where all the spaghetti westerns were made. But what a lot of people don't know is that there's a lot of films also been made way up here in the north. In an area here, Tudela, in the bottom of the Ebro Valley, is the Las Badenas Reales, which is a Badlands. Game of Thrones has been filmed there, all sorts of things. Here, in this mountain range here, which is what I'm going to talk about specifically really today, is the Sad Hill Cemetery from The Good, the Bad and the Ugly. And other scenes in The Good, the Bad and the Ugly were filmed up here. There's also semi-desert over here. There's all sorts of areas. Anyway, fascinating country. So what I'd like to start with, partly because if you go to Spain on the ferry, you will come in at Santander or at Bilbao. And Bilbao, in actual fact, the port is the Urbina, which is about 40 kilometers outside Bilbao. But Santander is a very nice place to come into. So you come in here at sea level. Now, by the time you're passing over, and my favourite route coming out of Santander brings you over to this end of the Embalse de Ebro. Now, you're going up to 5,000 feet to get over there, and that's sea level to 5,000 feet in 50 miles or something. It's a long way up, and you will get immense temperature changes across from getting up onto the mountains, and also the weather can be very different because Atlantic weather systems will park themselves up against all these mountains. Weather comes in and it sits there. The number of times I have come out of Santander in the rain, reached the Puerta here, and within half a mile I'm in bright sunshine and double the temperatures, simply because the weather sits there. So for instance, if you're going to visit the Picos, and it's all very well, but it's very touristy, I would say stay on this side, perhaps Riaño, because you're over the top of the mountain and the weather is more guaranteed to be great. And also, in actual fact, the road from Riaño to Cangas de Onís is a better road, I think, than the Potes one, which is where everybody goes there, and their aunt, and the holiday buses, and all the rest. So I would say that the Picos, as I say, is only that tiny area. Now, I want to tell you that there are some great places in here. In here, there's a bit I've done about the Sierra del Hornijo. Now, that is only half an hour out of Santander, but you're going up to 4,000 feet. It's a limestone area. There's huge caves. There's an amazing glacial valley that you go up to the Mirador at the top. There are other little sierras. This sierra here, this is my favourite bit. This is the Sierra de la Demanda. So Burgos is here and Soria is here. It's the bit in between, and it goes up to 8,500 feet. And there is a little road you can take to the Alta Cruz de la Demanda, which is 6,000 feet up, and literally you're on top of the world. You can see down both sides of the mountain range. Burgos is a wonderful city to stay in. I recommend the Hostel Acanto or Aquarela there, because they are both they're run by friends of mine, people I've got to know over the years, and they will look after you, and they've got underground car parks, and it's all very secure, and they're well priced. From here, for instance, if you only had a week, and I did it coming all the way down through France, I had 3 days here, but I spent them going round this lot of mountains, and there's so many superb roads there with no traffic on, wonderful little villages to visit like Huerta de Arriba, and hopefully it's still there, Bar La Fuente, which is next to the little fountain in the village, tiny little village, right up in the mountains, 4,000 feet up, I think. And behind the door is where there's the stuffed two-headed calf. So it's in the dark, you have to look for it when you go in. It's kind of fun to go and find that. Here you've also got a necropolis near Quintanar de la Sierra, which has a wonderful campsite, and the necropolis is up a forestry road and in the back of the pines, and that's a great place to visit. So there's lots to do within this area, which doesn't have all the traffic that sits in the Picos. If you want to do a circuit in 10 days or so, you can do a circuit that goes all the way around the outside of the Tierra de los Campos. What I will do probably is do some slide shows, videos, to go into more detail about this area. So that'll do for now. Thank you.
I bandied a lot of different heights around about the various sierras in my talk earlier, so I thought I'd better just make it true and tell you the real ones. So the Picos is 8,694 feet, 2,650 metres, and the Picos is just that little bit, which is a part of the whole Cordillera Cantabrica. In the Pyrenees, 11,167 is the highest point. Then the Sierra de la Demanda is 7,500 feet. Portugal's highest point is 6,599. The Gredos and Guadarrama, the top of the Gredos, is actually 8,500 feet. And then the Sierra Nevada is 11,410. That's the most permanent snow in the whole of Europe. Depending on how you classify Europe, is which is the most mountainous country. In the old Europe, it was certainly Spain was second behind Switzerland. But I believe with the Eastern European states that have become part of Europe, there are other alternatives.